Welcome to Skin Deep with your host, Sharon Morton. She's scratching below the surface and bringing you the power to make informed decisions about what's in our food, water, and products that we bring into our homes that affect our bodies. It's a show that will help you heal your mind, body, and soul. So stay tuned for all things that are skin deep.
Welcome to Skin Deep here on SiriusXM. I'm your host, Sharon Morton, and today I have my guest, co-host, artist, and activist Brenda Brown with me. We're going to be doing more than just scratching the surface. Here on Skin Deep, we're giving you the power to make informed decisions about what's in your food, your water, and even your makeup, and so many other things that affect our bodies. As I've said before, when you know what's in the products you bring into your home and how those chemicals can affect your health and your environment, you can make informed purchasing decisions that will improve your mind, body, and soul. And that's just what Brenda and I will be talking about today. Makeup. It's what so many of us women use every day. But makeup is comprised of dozens of chemicals that can affect everything from your reproductive system to your mood. So although makeup can enhance our beauty, it can also be a detriment, to our health. And we're also going to be talking about how what we eat as well as what we're exposed to environmentally can lead to so many incurable diseases. My guest co-host has had eczema all of her life, and although it affects the skin, eczema is not just skin deep. This disease can have serious impacts on a person's quality of life and overall health. And Brenda's going to be talking about her challenges with the disease and how she works every day to overcome those challenges. Listen, health is the new wealth, and without it, you can't do much of anything. So please stay tuned for more valuable information right here on Skin Deep. Welcome back to Skin Deep. As I said earlier, I have artist and activist and a dear friend of mine, Brenda Brown, co-hosting the show with me today. I'm so happy to have you. Welcome to Skin Deep, Brenda.
Thank you, Sharon. I'm glad to be here.
I am happy to have you here. We've been friends for many, many years, and I've learned so much from you in terms of what makes you better as a person and things regarding our health, our skin, our bodies, makeup. And I said I had to have you on the show to help me co-host so that we can get this information out to the community.
Yes.
So today we're going to talk a lot about different things that are in our products that we bring into our home, like makeup. And before we do that, we're going to talk about some of your challenges because you've had eczema your entire life.
Yes, I have.
And you've had many, many challenges as a result of that.
Many challenges.
And you have, experimented with so many products over the last, I won't date you.
Please don't.
But you've experienced so many products and tried so many products, and many of them worked, many of them didn't work. You're still doing that.
I'm still doing that,
yeah,
really.
So tell
it's
us.
trial and error.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so tell us, how it all started,
Well, when I was 18, my parents had, just taken me to every doctor on the East Coast. And it became my responsibility to really try to find out what was going on. Because even back then, they were saying there was no cure.
For eczema.
And there is no cure for eczema.
Yeah, there still isn't.
Yeah.
Because you had it since you were a baby.
6 months, since I was 6 months old, yeah.
Okay, and so as a child, you suffered.
I suffered a lot. Thank God for my grandparents.
Okay.
Because I lived with them in the early part of my life, and they really protected me and did everything they could to try to take care of me, to build self-esteem in me, because the eczema was it was terrible.
Bad,
yeah, it was very bad.
Explain to everybody what eczema is. I mean, it's
sort
a skin
of a
disease,
breaking
right?
out of the skin. It's a skin disease. Your skin sort of breaks out in bumps, and it's just a lot of itching.
Okay.
It's like
it's torment.
Yeah, it really is.
Very uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable.
And you really can't control it.
It's very hard to control it.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, of course, they were just treating it with topical kinds of things. Mm-hmm. And I don't even think back then they had steroid creams.
Okay.
Which really do a great job, but they're steroid creams.
There's side effects.
Yeah, there's
to
side
steroids,
effects from that,
yeah.
yes. So when I was 18, I just decided I'm going to do some research on my own. There's got to be more to this. than just using these topical steroid creams.
Okay.
So I, started to research and read up on what I should eat and what I shouldn't eat, and
because
just
that played a
basically
role.
That played a big role. Yeah.
And your breakouts.
In my
right.
breakout, yeah.
And a
yeah.
lot of people don't understand that that eating certain things, using certain lotions,
and
perfumes, all of that
can play a part in
yeah.
eczema and allergies overall.
All kinds of sensitivities.
Yes, all kinds of sensitivities. Yes.
And when did you figure that out?
I figured that out after doing some research. Around 19 or 20, I was starting to get it. So I started to understand that there were other things going on. There were things that I was eating. There were things that I was coming into contact with
in the
environment.
In
the environment that I couldn't really control that well. But also there were things like what I wash my clothes in, what I wash my skin in, what I wash my hair in.
Wow.
Yeah.
All of that
plays a role and plays a part.
Okay. So I mean, things from shampoo
to body soap, laundry detergent.
All of that played a role.
All of that. Chemicals that my mom would clean the house with. Yeah, all
just
of those things.
Inhaling those
Just
chemicals.
inhaling those things. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you
definitely.
figured out at a young age that these things were wreaking havoc on your skin.
On my skin and on my health overall.
Right.
Yeah.
So you said that there is no cure for eczema. There are topical solutions.
Topical solutions, right.
And some of those have steroids and different things.
Right,
And what are some of the side effects of those things?
Well, steroids, supposedly, back then they used to say that they cause cancer, or they can cause cancer.
Well, like everything,
And throw
yeah.
off your hormone balance, all kinds of things, swelling, so I was just fed up. And the other thing that steroids did to me was cause me to lose color in my arms, in the creases of my arms. So I have sort of spots that look like vitiligo.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's another thing that steroids did.
So once you began to research what you needed to do, or I guess you were researching options.
Yeah, I was researching options.
Yeah, because I guess you were at your wit's end.
I was at my wit's end. Especially at 18, 19, you really don't want to walk around scabby.
Right, and scratching.
and itching.
Right.
You really don't.
Yeah.
So I kind of got to a point where, from reading and researching and talking and having conversations with naturopaths and herbologists, that I needed to really do water, vegetables, a lot of prayer and meditation.
Yeah, which is what we all should be doing anyway.
Which is what we all should be doing
anyway.
Water,
vegetables, lots of prayer and meditation.
Right. This was but this was many years ago, so
and
not so many, but
but it wasn't in vogue.
It
like
wasn't
it is
in
now.
vogue. No, it definitely wasn't in vogue.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't in vogue. And then I became a vegetarian, which was really difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, very difficult.
To change from eating meat.
Right, to change from eating meat.
Only.
Right, vegetables and lots of juicing. I was juicing back then.
Juicing vegetables.
Juicing vegetables and fruit. Yeah. So that was working for a while, but then I decided I wanted to wear makeup, and I started with lipstick.
Okay.
And so that was really was a traumatizing experience.
Explain that. Yeah, why?
Yeah, because lipsticks were breaking my lips out. Yeah, they were actually making me have breakouts on my lips, drying. It made my lips very dry and very itchy.
A lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of lead in lipsticks.
Tremendous amounts of lead. I mean, some years ago they came out and actually admitted that especially a lot of the high-end brands had tons of lead. Yeah.
Wow.
I can't say names, but
of course.
almost did.
Okay, I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah, I know.
But that was affecting your lips.
Yeah, that was affecting my lips. So I was very frustrated because I thought, well, I want to wear lipstick. I want to start to wear makeup.
Right.
By this time, I was probably about 20 or 21, and I wanted to wear those things. And so it was kind of like then, there was a lot of talk about hyperallergenic. Yeah. So I tried to use those brands, and some of them worked and some of them didn't.
So that was trial and error.
That was
again.
a big trial and error. Big trial. A lot of money spent, a lot of money wasted.
Figuring out what works.
Out and trying to find a brand that worked for me.
Okay. And then trying to figure out other types of makeup.
Exactly.
Did you start wearing other kinds of makeup and finding that affected your skin as well?
Exactly.
So what did you do?
Well, I kind of stopped wearing, I started for a minute to wear some things on my eyes and things. And that definitely wasn't working.
Wow.
That wasn't working at all.
That was causing problems.
That was causing problems. So then, going to the health food stores a lot, I started to buy brands that said natural. Back then, a lot of the brands said natural, not necessarily organic,
Right.
but natural.
Okay.
So I started to use those brands, and some of those worked and some of them didn't. But the issue really was for me that I love color. So
Because you're an artist.
I'm an artist, and so
Right.
I love color. And so, you might find one brand that had one lipstick that was great. It was good, but that would be that color. And so you see another color, and that would be in another brand of lipstick, and that wouldn't work for me. I couldn't wear it.
That would mess
I was stuck with usually wearing one color from one company. That was it.
And if you're an artist, then you understand that was hard.
That was
Yeah,
hard. Yes,
okay.
that was hard.
And so what did you do?
Well, I just suffered, really. I suffered for a long, long time, and then,
And we don't want the audience to think, well, you suffered because you couldn't put on lipstick a different
but
color.
I was
But
still
you were
suffering with the
going-
eczema.
Exactly.
And suffering with, still I was young. So I was like, God, why is
Right.
this happening to me?
Yeah.
Everybody else can eat what they want.
Do
and
what they want,
everything.
wear what they want.
And hardly anyone back then in my environment was a vegetarian.
Right.
So that was really...
That was suffering.
I was catching
Watching
it.
them eat
What are you doing?
meat.
Yeah, right. Watching me. What are you doing? Juice and what? Right.
Right.
So it was
That's
difficult.
tough.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was tough.
And so, gosh, the end of the segment is coming up. So, but we still have a lot more to talk about in terms of the cosmetic database. You're
Yes,
gonna
we
explain to
definitely want to talk
our
about that.
audience
A
how you
godsend.
finally figured out what
right.
it is that you could do
Right.
to help out with
Exactly.
your eczema. So, we're going to take a quick break and come right back here on Skin Deep. And we're back here on Skin Deep. I'm your host, Sharon Morton, and we're here having a very informative discussion with artist and activist Brenda Brown. Brenda, you were talking in the last segment about, going through so many challenges with having eczema at such a young age and trying to figure out and navigate, this whole thing with food and makeup and things that were in the environment, trying to figure out what it was that you could do to make it better for you.
Yes.
And so you were saying that, you were struggling with being a vegetarian because all of your friends were meat eaters, and this was during a time when people weren't into vegetarian.
No, they
it's
definitely
not like
weren't.
it is today.
No,
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so you were having to do whatever it took to ease the discomfort of eczema. So what are some of the other things that you were doing?
Well, one of the great things that happened was I came down to this area. I was coming back and forth down here
From
anyway,
New York
from New
to-
York and New Jersey, because I was raised down here on a farm in Lusby,
Maryland.
Maryland, till I was about 4. But then I went to live in New Jersey, New York with my parents.
Okay.
And so I started to come back down here a lot, and I found some wonderful dermatologists.
Okay.
Yeah, wonderful dermatologists.
That helped you.
That helped me a lot. Fletcher Robinson,
Okay.
Donald Frisbee,
Okay.
and Valerie Callender.
Okay.
Yeah, well, all here in this area.
All right.
And so that was great. So, they had some sort of alternative treatments that weren't necessarily steroid creams.
Yeah.
And they would definitely, encourage me to keep up my lifestyle in terms of, a lot of water and a lot of,
Fruits and vegetables.
fruits and vegetables, and definitely finding something, or they had things, they could recommend things that were really, didn't aggravate my skin. I could use on my skin like lotions and soaps and different things.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was good.
That was good. And
Yeah.
some of the things that you couldn't and still can't to this day eat or use include what? Because I know you're gluten free.
I'm gluten free and dairy free.
Yeah. Sugar free.
I'm sugar free. I'm corn free.
Everything.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
I just recently discovered through my homeopathic doctor that I am allergic to corn and corn products.
Wow.
So you can imagine that was
Yeah,
how much
that's tough.
corn we consume just
Yeah.
in corn.
It's
corn
in everything.
It's in everything. Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and so you can't eat flour. There's all kinds of things you can't eat.
Right, because when we go out to eat, I always have to ask, or I just deliberately order things that I know shouldn't have flour in them. Although since my husband's a chef, I know to ask, because in most restaurants they use flour in a lot of things.
And you can't.
And I can't
eat
have,
that.
I can't
Okay.
have flour.
Yeah, no chocolate.
No, I don't eat chocolate.
All
No.
of the wonderful things in life
All the delicious
you
things.
can't have.
Yeah, I can't have.
Yeah, because
But
they cause an allergic reaction, and you've gotten used to it, though, right?
I've gotten used to it, and it's gotten better. I mean, there are so many dairy-free products that you can get.
Today,
Gluten-free is
yes.
so readily available. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's gotten better now. But I mean,
was
it was
challenging
definitely a
back then.
challenge back then. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a challenge.
Yeah.
Yes,
So what else did you do in terms of after meeting with dermatologists? And by the way, a lot of people don't have money or good health care that cover, visits to the dermatologist. So
Yeah,
they have
it
to,
was expensive.
Yeah.
But thank God I had the money.
And the
Yeah,
and the health insurance.
And the health insurance, yes.
But for folks that don't, you've always talked about the cosmetic database and how
Yeah.
you can go onto this database and look at what has what in it.
And
Yes.
that's been a godsend.
Yeah.
That's been a godsend.
Explain what that is, the cosmetic database,
It's-
and how important it is.
Oh, it's the Environmental Working Group Cosmetic Database, and I discovered it because one of my doctors had told me to drink raw milk, and I was really like not wanting to do that. This was years ago, and I was really not wanting to do that. So I was actually trying to Google and find out information about raw milk, and the Environmental Working Group popped up. Cosmetic database / cosmetic database. And of course I went on there, and like I said, it's been a godsend because they really tell you about products and the kind of toxins that are in products.
Wow.
And they rate them from a 0 to 10. Of course, with 0 being the least amount of chemicals and 10 being, just
most.
off the chain. Yeah.
That really
Yeah.
affects you in
That
so
really
many different
affects you in
ways.
so many different ways. So because for me, I could go to the store and get a natural product. That didn't mean it was going to work for me because there were still things that I was allergic to.
Okay. Yeah, and natural doesn't always
Doesn't
mean natural.
always mean natural.
Just like organic
Doesn't always mean organic. Exactly.
And we have to do our own research because sometimes manufacturers just slap labels on things to sell.
Exactly.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that it is what it says it is.
Yes, exactly.
And so going to the cosmetic database helps you do what? And by the way, that website is ewg.org. That's ewg.org. But going to the cosmetic database helped you to learn about all kinds of things, like
all kinds of things.
fragrances, nail polishes, hair
exactly.
shampoos, skincare,
Right.
makeup, like we talked about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
exactly.
And so, what did you do? I mean, did you go in there to look for information regarding raw milk because you weren't certain about drinking
Well,
it?
they really didn't. They just
not
happened
really
to
food,
pop
is
up.
it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not really about food. They just happen to pop up. They're really about makeup and skincare.
Okay.
And everything you use on your skin.
Yeah.
And, so I was able to look up makeups, foundations, lipsticks, everything.
Yeah, oral care,
toothpaste,
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
And see what had a lot of chemicals and what didn't.
Wow.
And there are many, many, many products that say they're organic, but they have tons of chemicals in it. Cancer-causing, immune-suppressant chemicals and toxins. So you just can't go by that. You really have to be on target about doing your research.
Yeah, and it's a lot of research.
It's
time consuming.
It's time consuming, and it can be expensive. It was expensive for me initially.
What do you mean?
Because so many of I would still see products that were maybe zeros or ones.
Explain that, or you mean on that scale of
on that scale of 0 to 10, right?
Uh-huh.
Maybe a product was a 0 or a 1 or 2, but it wouldn't work for me. It might still break my skin out after I ordered and paid all the money for it.
So it was trial and error.
So it was trial and error for me. It's gotten much better now for me.
What do you mean? How?
Because I've latched into some products that really work for me, and I can continually use those products.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
I can always go back and get those products again.
Right.
But initially, trying to find which products worked was difficult because I would still get some. Because say, for instance, I don't do so good with lavender.
Lavender, okay.
Lavender. I found that out just, in the last 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
So I'd order a product and maybe it would have lavender in it, and maybe that would work for you, and it would be
Right.
a 0, very low toxins, but it wouldn't work for me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I have a sensitivity to lavender.
Yeah.
So allergies aren't just about toxins, being allergic to toxins. Also, you can be allergic to things that are very natural.
Yeah, that's
like
interesting.
grass and
Yes.
all kinds of things.
A lot of people
Yeah.
suffer from severe allergies
Exactly.
during certain seasons,
right.
because of the grasses and the pollens, and those are natural.
That's right. That's right.
What I also like about the cosmetic database is not only does it rate different products, Say if you want to, you want to look up your shampoo and you find out that this product is a 7 or 8 on the database, which is not good. But it also tells you how it affects your body.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It tells you what it does.
Exactly. Yeah. It tells you, what it can do to even like your reproductive system, what
immune
else?
system. Yeah.
And people don't realize that. I mean, you just go to the store and just grab shampoo. You're not thinking.
And it's hard because people don't want to give up what works for them.
Right. What works for them externally. They're not understanding what's going on with them internally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they say that the average woman before she leaves home in the morning, she uses 60 chemicals between her soaps and lotions and makeup and eye makeup and all of those things.
60
That's horrible.
chemicals.
Exactly.
That our body is absorbing every day.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm one of those women because I wear makeup every day.
Yes.
And it's just only been in the last couple of years where I've been, because of you, more cognizant of what I'm wearing, what I'm doing. Wow, I'm overwhelmed. I'm just so happy that you're here to, educate our audience about, what it is that they can do to help themselves. So you're gonna come back and join me on another show and co-host, and we're gonna talk some more about the cosmetic database and so many other things that you and both of us have experienced with a myriad of products. So I just want to let you know again that if you're interested in going to the cosmetic database, the website is ewg.org. That's ewg.org. Just insert any name of any product, and it will tell you what kind of effect it can have on your body. So anyway, that's it for now, folks. I'm your host, Sharon Morton, and I hope that you take the information that we provided today and you use it to grow your health. Be sure to tune in again for another insightful and enlightening discussion on all things that are skin deep.